Hello everybody, this is JD. I'm going to read you something I wrote 2.5 months ago. It's called Presidential Platform 2008 JD's Campaign. It's also going to be attached to this video. The most important thing that must be first and foremost, the American people, the public, must come first, and to remember, our government must serve the American public, not the American public serves the government. First, medical. Before we send Medicaid to other countries around the world, we must make sure that Americans have all the medical treatment they need. Before we build another nation's infrastructure, we must make sure our roads and highways are the best it can be. Our electrical grids are up to top-notch standards for the future. We need to have them beyond the capabilities they are now. Before we educate students of other nations, make sure that our students receive the best possible education and the American student has the best equipment and classrooms that our country can provide. Before we pay companies to make employment overseas to third world countries, make sure every American that wants a job in this country has a job. Promote companies that build the job market. Give them the tax breaks in this country, vice those who go to the third world country. Develop our natural and other resources to the fullest of their capabilities. We should be a leader in world oil production, not lagging, holding back the level of oil to us and the world. One reason our price of oil is so high is the United States could be doubling the oil output of the world. We don't. We have and should use our knowledge of nuclear energy and produce much more power by the nuclear fission process. A cheap form of energy, but yes, it does have its drawbacks. When the radioactive rods are expended, then the only thing they're good for is weapon development or to be buried somewhere for millions of hundreds of thousands of years. Coal should be developed and allowed to maximum usage throughout this country. Plus, we should look at reducing the pollution of coal. That we can do. Sun power generation should become a major source of our energy production elements through technology, as long as it is going, and it is very promising. Our sun power is extremely strongly available to us. We have places where the sun is almost 365 days a year at its maximum level constantly. Photoelectric cells should be there. Wind power development should be produced and should be also our priorities. Geothermal. Our state parks like Yellowstone has all kinds of geothermal that can be tapped for all kinds of power. We should be looking at geothermal. Our electrical grids internally need to be improved. They are far behind a lot of countries. They should be the leader. We should have the most sophisticated and most up-to-date electrical grid in the world. Our forests must be managed so that they provide a safe environment for nature and the human, and also we can do farming in our woodland. Removing the trees and the underbrush, replacing them with younger trees, and well as plant life that the natural animals can live on. Move our nation to the 23rd century. Look for newer ways to provide energy and fuels for our society. Different avenues and needs, for example, battery-powered automobiles. That would be great for people who live in city-type environment. But for people who live in rural, they need something with longer distance. Hydrogen-powered vehicles, solar-powered transportation, all that should be looked into. Turn our science to advance our livelihood and at the same time prevent those from hindering the development of the major companies by buying up patents and then only sitting on them. That should not be permitted. If anyone buys a patent that they say they use for production from somebody else, they should state a date when the production will be used. Buying it up only to hide it is not what we need to do. There's a lot of other things. Taxes, lower them throughout this country. The American people are overtaxed individually. That should be totally looked at. Minimum wage should not be taxed for everyone. No one at all should there be any minimum wage tax. Also, there is other things we can do to reduce the tax burden upon the individual in this government. Less government. We need to reduce the size of our government. Anyone who says our government needs to grow is a fool and an idiot. What do you want to do? Employ everybody? That's the way to create jobs, though. Employ everybody who doesn't have a job into the government. We'll get a larger government, more taxes, but they're working, so we can charge tax their whole salary. Then we got people working, but they don't make no money, but that's okay. We have hospitals throughout this country. We need to open full medical clinics to the people. These clinics will be used to train interns. These clinics, people who have insurance can go to, as well as people who don't. These clinics would be able to perform all types of exams because they have the facilities of the hospitals. Children's shots could be gotten at these clinics. They can be scheduled so that everybody knows where to go to get these shots. All Medicaid and medical should also fix Social Security. One way is to realize that our offshore resources belong to the American people, not Congress or the Senate. The House and the Senate don't own those oil fields. Those oil fields off the coast belong to the American people. To utilize the money from those oil fields to go into Social Security. In my platform, I say 80% of all monies received from these oil fields and federal lands should go to replace all monies used by the Congress and Senate, the House and the Senate, in the past. The people should not have to pay for the government's failure to properly handle money. And the only way Congress or the Senate can use the money that is authorized out of these drillings for Social Security to use it for anything else would have to have a national referendum. This is my platform. This is a brief reading of it. It will be attached to the video. You decide what my platform says. If you agree with my platform, then you will have to write in JD for President. You have a nice day.